Hey, hi friends, how are you? And here we are on another pandemic Thursday. It's April 8th here in New York City. It's a beautiful day. And they've brought the workmen back in full force. I think they're all men. Yeah, they're men. And they're working away. They've had jackhammers going, so if you do hear that foreign sound to your ear, you'll know that it's that. Maybe I should be doing the other setup with the electricity, but I was in the mood to just change it up today, and so here we are doing stand-up. Okay. That was Walk on the Wild Side. I'm feeling particularly wildish today. I'm not sure why exactly, but it is. The weather has been really brilliant here, and it just gives you a little bit of a lift after one of the coldest winters in recent memory in New York City. Not that much snow, but just an overall overall overlay of angst, extra angst due to the pandemic. And gee, I don't know where we stand today. I think New York has still got one of the highest rates of infection, although it's much diminished from what it was at the start of this thing. But there's still cases with these variants popping up, that also spiking in the upper Midwest, I guess. And it's just, I don't know, we're rolling along with it. Like everybody, but more people are out there on the street and happily wearing masks, which is always a good idea, I think, until they can declare this thing over. And when that will be is anybody's guess. It hasn't been particularly salubrious for the performing arts community, as you may well be aware. So if you do, have some extra currency available, please do visit the virtual tip jar. Carolyn and I both would really appreciate it, and I won't belabor the point, but only to say, let's see, a bunch of new things I wanted to do a little show and tell here. I just got this in the mail from Uncut Magazine, who are one of the best of the UK magazines, and they do these special issues. They all do now. But here's one I never thought I'd see, which is the ultimate music guide to The Fall. Now you sing it in the mirror image. So, but you probably do see Mark E. Smith giving two fingers up on the front cover. I always thought that was the V for victory sign, like a la Winston Churchill, until I was disabused of the notion. Oh, no, that's this. With them facing out, but when they're facing with, the drill. So, what can I tell you? They were my favorite group for some years. I used to blast them in the corridors of, if people at CBS Records, when I worked there, walked by, normally the door was shut. I was an oddball that way. I always preferred my privacy. But the general rule in these corporations were you were to be available for visual inspection at any moment, just keeping tabs on everybody, make sure that they're working along productively, etc. But I would choose to retreat behind the closed door often. Basically, I think I concentrated better that way in the production of these advertisements I was involved in the writing of. But I also had, as we all did in the record division there, stereos set up in the office. And you could play them pretty loudly, particularly if it was something the company was pushing or had signed. But there wasn't a lot in the time I was there that I really was fond of, I have to tell you, but that's me. Although some great music was purveyed during I'm ashamed to say, the 13 years I held that job. My God, I don't think anything but being a freelance artist is anything. That I've done for, let's see, if I left my day job officially in 90. So it's now 30, going on 31 years. Can you believe that? But I held down that job for 13 years. Just by sheer, I don't know what it was. It was definitely, as my sister Laurie said, it was kind of a velvet coffin. They would just give me just so much in the terms of raises every year, just incremental raises, and particularly when everything slowed down sales-wise before the advent of the CD, they started to lose a lot of money. This giant corporation, but I hung on there because to me it was like so easy to write these things. Plus, I had a lot of fun, and once in a while I could be kind of subversive. Certainly for some of the freelance ads that I did, I took some risks. The best that I can recall was I got hired freelance at MCA Records by one of the product managers who had previously been at Epic. I won't name him, but he liked my work a lot, and we had worked successfully together. And he had a band, it was an R&B band called Nature's Divine. Nature apostrophe S divine. Like nature is divine? No. Nature's divine, like we are God's given gift to whatever. And so in those days they took what were called slicks out in trade magazines, particularly Billboard. I don't know what they cost, but, a fair amount of money, I think. And or a Cashbox, they were also big on slicks and Cashbox. Basically, it was the album cover. It was a graphic, mainly the album covers, with a little fold-over flap with copy on it to kind of hype the product, or be clever about it to direct attention to whomever, DJs and just, people in the industry. So for this one, I don't know, I just came up with the headline, people everywhere are answering the call of nature, which went over the head of Kanye, I guess, and I don't know, it did run until somebody wised him up. And answering the call of nature is meaning, as like to go to the bathroom, basically. Let's just get it. This is the last taboo here, and they don't like to show this activity on TV, that's for sure. You could see naked breasts now with ease, but this other basic function, although, I'm not advocating it, mind you. So that one got in there, and I was like, gee, and I got paid for writing it, but they went out of business next year. I guess it wasn't a great ad for that band. They weren't a hit. Now look, here's a book by Michael Kohlhaas. It's called Michael Kohlhaas. It's a famous book that I didn't really know of much by Heinrich von Kleist. And New Directions have published this. A fine publisher of all sorts of great literature, started by the legendary James Laughlin. And he's dead, but I did go to a Festschrift for him in about 1979 in New York, held by Bradford Morrow, who had the literary magazine Conjunctions, and he's a very fine novelist in his own right. Anyway, there I did meet Laughlin. But Michael Kohlhaas is it's like a forerunner of Kleist. His writing is quite ironic, and basically a lot of it is based in the narratives on misinterpretation of what people say. So a lot of confusion where people take cryptic remarks the wrong way and set off chain reaction of events. And it's quite absurdist and dark at the same time. You may know another story. Now, my friend Sandy Perman was big on this one, called Saint Cecilia, or The Power of Music. I definitely recommend that one, anybody interested in the power of music. I don't want to give it away, but you should read him. Kleist, quite good. The Marquise of O is another. They're all novella length. He wrote a lot. I don't think he ever did write a lengthy novel, but he wrote criticism and plays and poetry. And okay, so now let's see. I've got some more sheet music from the Danny Fields' Father collection that he bestowed on me. Some great stuff. So here is the sheet music for Cherry Pink and Apple Blossom White, which I believe was covered by Perez Prado, a legendary artist in the Latin music field. But this is an arrangement of it because it appeared in Howard Hughes's Underwater, with an exclamation mark, starring Jane Russell. And there she is in all her glory. Jane Russell, for whom Howard Hughes designed, this is true, a legendary cantilevered brassiere, especially for her appearance in the film The Outlaw, which kind of made both their reputations in a way. And it was depicted in that film that Leonardo DiCaprio was in, The Aviator, all about Hughes and his obsessions, among other things. Okay, now here's one we both agreed was a classic, Danny and me. and that is, it's a little bit schmutzed, I'm sorry, but still a good cover. It's The Old Lamplighter. Look at these graphics. The Old Lamplighter from long, long ago. A beautiful song as rendered by Kay Kaiser. When I was at CBS, they had an anthology of Kay Kaiser, who was a big band artist, who had various vocalists sing with his big band. And that song was something really special. I recommend it. You can find this all on YouTube. All this stuff is like right there. It might even be on Spotify, the dreaded Spotify. But The Old Lamplighter, Kay Kaiser. Check it out. It is, I'd use the word transcendental here, but I might be overselling it. Nevertheless, worthy of your attention. And in the same vein, here we go. Les Paul and Mary Ford, Vaya con Dios. They recorded it. These are great standards. And there they are, Les and Mary. And I saw Les Paul play, not with Mary Ford, who died some years previously, at Iridium Jazz Club. It was quite an event for a few years, and all sorts of guitarists would show up to sit in with them, including Jeff Beck. I missed that one, but I did see him play one night, and he was a salty old guy, and very acerbic and witty and tired, and not too mobile at this point. He was seated throughout the show, but he played a heck of a great guitar still. Kind of the pioneer of the whole electronic Echoplex sound, of which I'm quite a proponent. I've taken it a few degrees, I'd say, beyond less, as far as working with those delays. But he could overdub himself in real time with ease. And he had a great band with him, too. When I saw him, he had Lou Pala trio. And Lou was active for a while carrying on the Les name, and I did a gig, actually at Iridium, with Lou Pala. And Jan Close came and sat in and sang Jimi Hendrix Red House. And it was kind of a gas to do Red House with these older guys who were coming out of more trad jazz, a little bit on the bebop side. Les Paul was great at this, and Lou was even better. I mean, and that was playing a different chord on every beat of the song, just like one change after another. Something that, it's not really in my wheelhouse so much. I don't really need to do that, but I like it when I hear people do it. Okay. Here's the Banana Boat song, Cindy Oh Cindy. Calypso Land. Look at this. Now, Danny's father used to be a guitar player, and I guess these were the books. He drew a lot of his repertoire from. These are great covers. Now, a Banana Boat song, was made famous by legendary and far left-winger Harry Belafonte, who I did meet some years ago at a party somewhere or other. And Deo is a Deo was the number that led off Harry Belafonte Sings, which was his breakthrough album. And in the homes of many Americans, particularly of the Jewish persuasion, there was something about Harry Belafonte that really took people by storm. And I'll finish up. Here's a great one from one of our favorite musicals. In fact, Danny wanted to keep this. I'll give it back to him if he wants. But it's Hernando's Hideaway from the great Pajama Game. My parents had actual 45 discs, a set of 8, I think that was, to squeeze the whole soundtrack on. They were selling them in like little cardboard boxes, kind of. After CDs, 45s became the big thing for a while until the LP just took over. And the Pajama Game had John Raitt, who's from Syracuse, New York, my hometown. And we shared an English teacher there back in the day. A great performer and singer. And Bonnie Raitt, of course, is his daughter, who's also great. Raitt's are great. And Eddie Foy Jr., whose father was quite a star in vaudeville. Anyway, the Pajama Game, see it when it's back on TV, on TCM. They'll show it again. It's amazingly entertaining. They don't make them like that anymore, I don't think so much. And lastly, Elsie Bennett's compilation of Hebrew and Jewish songs and dances. Gotta Get This, which features, I don't know any of these songs well. My Yiddish is not what it should be, to tell you the truth, although I know a lot of the words. Anyway, for further investigation, although I probably won't be incorporating them into my songbook. I'm just happy to have them around here. They make me feel good. Okay, so while I still got your attention, I hope I got your attention. I didn't. Okay. A medley of one or two of my original instrumentals. Gee, that last one would make a hell of a good template for a song. I must find the right singer for that one. What else was I going to tell you? Oh, yeah. Oh, back to the Fall. So I had a nice relationship with them for a while, courtesy of their guitarist Craig Scanlon. Also Mark Riley I met at one point. And yes, I really followed this band from their earliest singles. I remember buying Bingo Master's Breakout, the first one at Bleecker Bob's. Must have been in 1978, I guess. And I loved them, and particularly when Brick Smith was in the band. My friend Craig Leon produced a few of their records, so he has plenty of stories. And Richard Mazda produced maybe the quintessential, considered the best fall album by the Cognoscenti, and that would be Hex Induction Hour, which I still am quite fond of. There's a great book called Have a Bleeding Guess that Paul Hanley wrote, who was the drummer in there for 4 or 5 years, along with his brother Steve Hanley, their bass player. This was sort of the engine room of the band for a long time. Anyway, the Magic Band, when I was on tour, did a show with the Fall opening for us at Royal Festival Hall during the time Glenn Max was booking there, who came out of the Knitting Factory organization, got hired by RFH. And I did several shows courtesy of Glenn. I hope he's okay. I haven't lost touch with him. But, yeah, they opened for us. But at the point, Mark had done some very controversial actions in New York City, and a lot of people were still angry with him, including some friends of mine who let him max out their credit cards to book him around on a tour, basically, and then just absconded back to the UK, leaving them in the lurch. How sad. But I tell you, it's a wild and woolly business, particularly when you're dealing on the margins of music, just saying. And I would direct you, although it's in Polish, to an interview I did for National Polski Radio, National Polish Radio, Radio Polski, on their improv show with Tomasz Gregorczka and this other fellow. I posted it. I'm honored that they had me on. They dug up tracks from my career I had forgotten about. I mean, I put a lot of work out there, guys. And it's all available for your delectation. Please, if you're going to purchase it, do so through my merch page. And you'll get an autographed copy of these things. Still, most of them available on CD, although I have to dig deep to source some of them now. And, yeah, that's about it. Okay. So let's look over the neighborhood. As is our want here. When I'm in this position, let's see. Because these guys love to be on camera. Look at them. Okay, workmen are working away. I don't know what it is. Is it a hot tub? What the hell is this platform? But they've been working on it for at least a year during the pandemic at a special slowdown rate. Okay, the house, the billionaires, Mance, they were working on it earlier. They've knocked off for the day, I guess. Special summery day weather, maybe could be the official reason. I don't know, but odds are they'll be still working on that building a year from now, the way things are going. Go figure. Nice work if you can get it. Love to play for you, as always. My pleasure and privilege. And I'll see you on this Saturday, 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And have a great one, or 2 or 3 on me. And I'll see you on Saturday.